all that shenanigans.
All right, we are streaming and we are recording, and I am confirming it right now on both of these platforms. Yep, we're rolling. We're good.
Amazing. We're rolling. Timer starts now. Mark. Hello! There's your face.
Yes, hi. Hi, here it
Hi.
is. Uh,
Ah. Oh, and I just saw the hearts open for the first time, and I think in a long time, and those are the cutest.
well,
So
thank you.
as my little open heart says, I'm Ford.
And I'm Sky.
And these aren't our real names, clearly, but they're close enough. I'm a private person, so that's what you get, people. So with our powers combined, we are the superhero writing partnership that forms L.Skyford. We should come up with like a hand signal that we do to form into Voltron
We will work on that for next time.
for next time. And this is L.Skyford Live. Here, these are going to be shorter, more bite-sized little episodes, little vignettes with us. We're going to talk about book birthdays, book news, stuff that's happening here January 2021. If you want to follow us on our social medias, it's Skyford L. For Twitter, at Instagram, it's L.Skyford. If you are more interested in us and our book and our writing, lskyford.com. And if you want to watch our faces do this episode, subscribe to us on Twitch at L.Skyford and YouTube at L.Skyford. And come watch us. Come see what pajamas I'm wearing today. Oh, I'm drinking some cheer wine today, so it's just good times over here in video land. In This
That
Is
is
Our Face land.
This is our Faceland is very exciting. So this and every episode is full of oversharing and spoilers, and it's rated E for
Mm-hmm.
explicit. So you have been warned. Today we're talking
Yes.
about a couple of things: New Year's resolutions,
Yep.
Bridgerton, and book reading
Uh,
goals. So those are our
yes.
three big topics.
Yes, and then we're also going to wrap up with January book birthdays. So books that are emerging into the world this month.
So excited about that. Okay, so
Yep.
let's jump into New Year's resolutions. Did you
Yeah.
make them? Are you into them? What's your story?
I hate New Year's resolutions. I hate because I feel they fall into the category of Lent for me, giving up something under the guise that it makes you better. Doesn't jive for me. Like it feels like both those things sets you up for failure. I'm not goal oriented. I'm not goal driven. When people are like, "What's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan?" I'm like, "I'm happy doing what I'm doing, and if I'm not happy, I'll go do something else." I don't have a plan, which is very weird for me because I'm a planner. But I don't like that stuff because when I inevitably forget, I will then feel like I failed at something. So why set myself up for that kind of shenanigans? How about you? New Year's resolutions?
So I also have a tendency not to make a resolution. I make wishes. It is an
Ooh.
Eastern European tradition. So the former Soviet tradition is to write a wish on a piece of paper, burn that piece of paper, and then drop the burning piece of paper slash ashes into your champagne glass, and then drink your champagne
Wow.
at midnight so that your wish is literally in you. Um, I will do all of that or some of that with my life
Yeah.
all the time. And so, because it's a wish, I do not get to tell you what it is because it's a
Sure.
wish. That's how they work.
Right.
But
I feel like we did the burning part one year at your house. I don't remember the drinking it part though.
No, I think because we were trying to prevent children from chugging things. Yes, we did the
Mm.
so
Mhm.
sometimes we modify the tradition based on the audience members, if you will.
Sure.
But
Got it.
so I did pose the question at New Year's to my family, and my older, who is 7 now, very elderly, made a New Year's resolution that blew me out of the water because the resolution is to read more than 20 books this year.
My gosh.
So that's the specific goal. It has to be
Okay.
it can't be 20 books. It has to be more than 20 books, which
Okay.
is joyful. So I purchased a book journal and we are tracking progress, and so
Cute.
like the best thing possible. I am I did a double take when I heard that. I was like, wait, that okay, that's what you want to do with your year.
But
Like
also
that's what you want.
your child.
Oh yes.
That's very
But
your child.
it very much is. Yes. So that's what we're working towards and I'm very excited about it.
That's amazing. Every time at my day job, a the bad guys comes across my desk, I think about you and I'm like, I wonder if they have this one. So whenever you're ready for more the bad guys, let me know.
I want to say we have the first 6. We have 1 through 6
Okay.
in
All
a
right.
box set. But
Ah.
we're working towards that. And we just
Mm-hmm.
got Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the entire
Yep.
collection, so that's also on our list now. So
A friend of mine does the audiobooks for that, I think. I think that's the series he does.
that might be
Have
fun
to
for
look.
us to look into as like other delivery
Mhm.
methods of books type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Especially, or like the way to get into a book that might be a little bit outside his reading level, like the next step up.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
if you,
Yes.
yeah.
Anyways,
So
so we're
still
very excited
still
about
reading a
that.
book. Yeah.
Yes, supporting that with my whole being because I think it's wonderful. So
Yeah.
yeah,
For sure.
that's our story on New Year's resolutions. Woo, I should have exercised my tongue before we started this because
We should have done some vocal warm-ups. Well, 20 more than 20 books is fantastic, and I'm jumping a little bit in our agenda, but that's half of what I plan to read
me
this
too.
year,
Me
and
too.
your child is less than like math is not my strong suit, so he is a fourth my age ish. So, uh, that's incredible, and I I love it. I love it so much.
It's yes,
Uh,
I'm very proud parent moment in that moment,
yeah.
considering how much of my time is spent with my nose in a book. For
Hmm.
it to be rubbing off is kind of awesome.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
So yes,
Congratulations.
thank you. We'll see
So
how it
he's
goes.
committed. Yeah, so he's committed to more than 20. I am committing to 52. One a week
Wow.
is how I came to
Um,
that number.
I committed to 40 books, and that I think is a little optimistic. I am a little concerned about, right? So in the land of pandemic, it was possible
Hmm.
to find book time all the time. I looked back at previous non-pandemic years to try and gauge how many books.
Hmm.
Ultimately, it's just a number. I looked at one year and I was one book short of my goal, and that was heartbreaking.
Oh,
But so we'll see how it goes. I hope I can do more than that. I
yeah.
also don't want to put pressure on something that I love doing, so that
Yeah.
like I don't want it to be a now I'm reading to meet this goal versus I'm reading because I love reading, which
Right.
is truly the case. Um,
I I completely agree. Like, yes, I completely agree. I am just imagining that pandemic will be continuing forever, and so the reading will be just as easy as it was. I
let's
have
pretend
lowered my expectations.
you have indeed. You have indeed. Um, I hope you are wrong about this one. I'm sorry. I hope you're
I
wrong.
It's fine. Yeah, you're right. Just realized that we're in the second week of the new year, and I have not finished a book yet, so I'm already behind on this goal. But I will say last year we read more short stories than I think we ever have. So that can be our cheat.
That's true. I mean, I feel like sometimes we read series, and then in those series, we
Yeah.
always read all of the in
Hmm.
between short stories, and so that adds up. But yes, agreed. We did fit a
Yeah.
lot of short stories into our lives.
Yeah.
Well, so now that you know our goals,
Yeah.
dear viewer slash listener, let us know
Audience.
yours. Audience member. Right.
Yeah.
I don't like why am I so binary in my viewership slash listenership? That's not necessary.
Sure.
Um, yes. All right. So, hot topic, maybe not hot
Uh,
topic. Hot topic of the day is
yes.
Bridgerton. I mean, I
Yeah.
have some feels. I have some very strong feels here. So,
I
yes.
believe our feels are the same, and I have thrust those feels into my day job. We talked about it, and I had two separate conversations about it with two separate coworkers, and I was like, no, this is not okay. I have not read it, I have not watched it, but it's not okay. So that's my hot take.
I mean, my hot take is I have watched some of it and I have listened to podcasts where other people discuss the reading of
Mm-hmm.
it. Um, and yeah, and I mean, so I have a lot of issues with content,
Mm-hmm.
content warning to everyone who's viewing this. There is, in case you have not read it on all the social media, there is sexual assault in this, and it is not addressed as sexual assault. In fact, it feels like you're being gaslit as an audience member, and they try to present it in a way that feels acceptable, like they're excusing its behavior, if you will, or the behavior of the person who is the offender in it, and that bothers me a lot, and it confuses me a lot because
Mm-hmm.
of who is producing the show and who is writing the show. And I've read a lot of articles. So when the show came out, and I had already known previous to the show coming out, I listened to the podcast in order to decide whether or not we would want to read these books. And in
Mm-hmm.
those podcasts is the detailed description of what happens, and then I've sought out those books and those passages, not necessarily spending the time to read all the books. I think there are 7 or 8, and for that, like I will take the guff for not having actually delved into the text and making commentary on that text. But I'm pretty clear on what the issues are. And then I've read several articles now about the decision in the show to treat the sexual assault the way that they did, and to leave it in the show, and to actually give it screen time. And I don't get it. And then I also
Sure.
wonder, well, the other thing that I really like, the reason that I want to talk about Bridgerton is because what I don't understand is that the response, like the audience response to
Mm-hmm.
the show has been like, this show is super fun. Come watch it with
Right.
me. And I
Not a blanket, this is problematic.
Right, exactly. Or right, like there's this one episode you should be aware of. It needs a content warning, or it has a content warning on it. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter who are actually asking Twitter essentially to be like, which episode is it in, so I can avoid that episode intentionally,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
it is triggering and I don't want to be triggered.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that the show doesn't put a
Yeah.
content warning on it and doesn't address it in a healthy way feels really problematic to me. And then the fact
Yeah.
that this is such a phenomena, that like it has such a
Phenomena.
huge viewership, such a big
Yeah.
audience, all of these people, right? And so that's the thing I want to talk about. It's not whether or not
Yeah.
you follow through with it or not. or whether or not you agree with the non-period music or non-period costumes, both of which are fantastic and are done
Yeah.
very well. Production values are really high and well researched and really well articulated. But there are some historical costume inaccuracies, but I think they're done intentionally. I could talk about that, but that, like, all of that pales in comparison to contextually, what is this teaching the young men and women and everyone else who is watching this show? Like, what have we learned from
Yeah.
watching this show?
Is the diversity of the show and the steps forward that is making enough of an impact that the step back in this like mishandling of this assault depiction, like does one balance out or save the other?
I don't think that they're in the same category.
Right.
Right? I don't
But
think
like
you could
that
be
seems
like,
like,
hey, we cast this like normal people versus like bigots and
yeah.
racist. Aren't you glad?
Right.
Like, yes, that's
Yeah.
wonderful and joyful, and I am very glad that you made those choices, and they do seem intentional and they do work really well.
Mhm.
And right, I'm speaking from a place of privilege, but I hope that it resonates with people who wanted to see themselves in period
Yeah.
drama, in positions of power, in positions of higher class, and I think that's fantastic. But
Agreed.
that's apples and rotten oranges on the same plate,
Right.
right?
But that's the conversation that's happening, is look what they've done casting wise, not this whole uh, like mishandling of the salt is not even in the discussion much. Like
I
I feel like you
know.
and I are the only ones having this discussion.
I
So
know,
it,
and I'm feeling very crazy. Like, I feel like I am being gaslit because it is in print on paper.
yeah,
Like, there's, right, I can pull up the
yeah,
video of it, and then there's people who are like, isn't it lovely? And I'm like, did you not watch the same thing?
yeah. What were you watching? Because no.
Because what I
So
watched was really problematic, but you
right,
watched something that was lovely, and I need to get
right,
on a page that is similar
right,
to the other people in my life.
right. And so you're very right that they're two different topics, and very right that uh, I'm I'm very happy for people who haven't seen themselves in, or people of color in these positions, in these character roles, to have that opportunity to do that. It's I also cannot forget that a white person assaults a black person.
That definitely happens
That
on
definitely
screen.
happens on screen. So, and that's not the conversation. So, I don't know if, so I did watch episode 1. I was very drunk. I vaguely have memories about it. Will I watch more? Probably not, because I don't want to give my time to something toxic.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes, not drunk. Not that that affects anything significantly. Your choices are your own. There's no judgment there. But I also don't know if okay. So full disclosure, I watched the first 2 episodes, and then I also watched the triggering scene because we're gonna talk about it.
Oh.
So I
Mm-hmm.
did watch that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because it isn't triggering to me in the same way that it would be for someone who may have experienced this type of thing. So it was okay for me to watch it, especially since I was prepared for it. I was ready
Right.
for the slime, if you will. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I've seen. Uh, and I don't know that I will see more of it either, simply because
Yeah.
there's just so much out there to
Yeah.
watch. And
Yeah.
and I have 40 books to read, so I do not got time for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just curious because it's picking up so much steam with an audience, that I'm just curious as to how that conversation isn't being had outside of you and I, outside
Mm-hmm.
of this very,
Yeah.
very small conversation that I feel like I'm
Yeah.
perpetuating. So
I also don't want it to be I don't want this kind of story to be considered the standard for historical romances because I don't think it is. Um, yeah, heterosexual relationships are the standard for historical romances, but we're starting to see more and more gay, lesbian, like LGBT historicals, and I think that's that's the way we gotta go. Let's get some like hot men in like waistcoats and jodhpurs. I don't know. You're gonna have to use all the technical costuming terms, period costuming terms, ruffs, and beaver felted top hats. This is all I know. That's some sexy stuff right there.
I mean, you're preaching to the would watch choir.
Would watch
Unless
choir.
unless there is non-consensual scenes in it, in which case
Right.
would make noise and not watch. Would
Right. Non-consensual, not like followed up on, not supported. Like if it's a plot point that becomes a bigger conversation, like I don't that's tough to watch, but I understand that conflict is conflict. I just like it's make it for a reason. Make it for a really good reason.
I mean, and I don't really want to spend a lot more time on it, but
Yeah.
and I also feel like I'm putting words in the author's mouth when I say this, but if I were to extrapolate, theoretically the comment is that the woman is not taught about how babies are born. Essentially, she has no sex education, and she figures out the purpose of ejaculation, essentially, because her husband, who tells her repeatedly does not want children, keeps pulling out. And so when he's drunk, she does not let him because she's finally figured out how to make a baby. Now, my assumption is that this is to articulate that women should have autonomy in their in sex education and in the understanding of where children come from during that time period. And she does this sort of out of an unclear understanding of how the whole process works, but he is very clear beforehand that he is not interested in having children, and he's also very clear during the act that this is not okay and he is not okay with it. And in the book he is also very clear after the fact that this feels like a violation and thing he did not want or consent to. So
and he's impaired, so
exactly, and he's impaired during the act.
So all right, if you have Bridgerton feelings, come at us. Be gentle.
Bring them.
But come at us. Shall we celebrate some book birthdays?
Birthdays, yes.
Book birthdays!
Book
the confetti is falling.
I know.
But
Imagine confetti. Imagine confetti graphic to come later.
Fantastic. We should get some props. It'll be great. All right. So January. I know.
January.
We'll get better.
So January, I want to start with this first one because I'm excited about it a bunch, except I got to catch up. So A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kemmerer is coming out on January 12th. And it is the third and final, I think, in a series called The Curse. And it is... the first one is A Curse So Dark and Lonely, and the second one is A Heart So Fierce and Broken. And it's a retelling of a Beauty and the Beast myth, and it takes some turns. It's got a lovely world.
YA?
I think it's in the YA stack. However, it's 400 to 500 to 600 pages, so it's not exactly a YA length read. It's a beautiful world. She's 17 or 18, so yes, in terms of like, if YA is determined by the age of the hero or heroine, then or the person in the lead role, then yes.
Cool.
and she has a limp because she has a disability, and she is fantastic and awesome, and they address that a lot. Her brother is gay, and he plays him and his partner, his boyfriend, both play a big role in this, and it's a little bit about like old ideas and new ideas and a bunch of magic. It's beautiful. It's very well done. A Heart So Fierce and Broken was the book I stopped reading when the pandemic started, and I have not finished it yet, but I really want to before the final one comes out.
Amazing. I am also coming out January 12th is Siri, Who Am I by Sam Tishida. They were mentors for Pitch Wars this year, which is how I came across them. I believe this is their debut novel. I think should have done some research. I've done nothing. I just pulled the dates together, you guys.
I wrote about what the book is about, but not a lot about the author. So the book is it has some tropes. It's a little tropey. She has amnesia and he's a millionaire. I feel like two tropes in one. Yeah. So it's a romance, and that's where that's at.
Fantastic. The cover is very cute. It's one of those cute cartoon covers. And lastly, coming out on January 12th, Ever After Always by Chloe Lacey. Let's just watch me butcher names forever. Is what's happening here.
So it has a lot of good reviews. There's apparently it's the best marriage in crisis trope coming out this year. Bold statement considering that it's coming out second week of January, and it's apparently a slow rekindling of a marriage.
Marriage in crisis is a not popular trope, so
apparently it is. We're just not reading it.
Oh, okay. Well, I would read more of that, being a married person.
I've read 2, maybe. I've definitely read 1, maybe 2.
Right. So January 19th, we have 3 books coming out. The first that I will plug is Shipped by Angie Hockman. I have the galley. I'm this much through it. It is a workplace, enemies to lovers. They work at a cruise line, and so they end up on a cruise to the Galapagos. So you better Galapagos read it.
Oh my goodness. Don't do it.
That's right.
That pun was of the cheese variety.
Yes, the fondue pun.
Yes. Where's a graphic for that?
I'm not. Yeah, but that would be amazing. We also have Winterkeep by Kristen Kashore. We've read a couple of these, haven't we?
Yeah, we read all of these. I have a very vivid memory of standing on a street corner because you were going to work and I was coming from work and we ran into each other. And I was halfway through Bitter Blue and I was like, I do not understand why I'm still reading this book because it is so angsty. And then I got to the end of it and I was like, okay, I understand why I kept reading this book. These books, so these, I want to say we read these like 7 or 8 years ago. It has been a while, and I can tell you.
That's why I remember nothing.
I can tell you all 3 of these. I can tell you the entire plot lines. So Graceling is phenomenal. Fire is, for me, was the hardest one to read. There is some content warnings in there. There is some physical and emotional abuse in there. And then Bitter Blue brings it all together, I thought. Like, it definitely wraps up the storylines. So I am very interested to find out where Winterkeep goes. From what I understand, it's in the same world as the other 3 books, but it doesn't necessarily continue any of the stories that we encountered in the first 3. But if not Fire or Bitter Blue, Graceling is worth the reread. It's gorgeous. Her partner becomes blind in it. Spoiler alert. Sorry, should have said that in the inverse order. He is he's a prince of a kingdom and he gives her a pinky ring, but she doesn't know that. And then she shows up in his kingdom to find his parents, and she's like, he gave me this ring, and they're like, oh, that's a huge deal, and she's like, what, it's just a ring, he wears a bunch of them because he wears rings on all his fingers. Yeah, like it's like a super, anyways, it was fantastic.
It's not ringing a bell.
Oof. Okay. All right. More fondue. I'm gonna just get like a little fondue pot picture that I'm gonna hold up. That's gonna be the graphic. Sorry, I get really excited about it. So I liked Kristen Kashore's writing a lot. It was really engaging. Her world is really complex. It's very magical. So definitely very escapist.
Amazing.
The last one coming out on the 19th is Enjoy the View by Sarah Morgenthaler. Hey, I get to butcher a name.
No, I think you nailed it. I think that's right on.
Excellent. For those who are unfamiliar, she had, the previous book was out this Christmas. Mistletoe and Mr. Right was the name of it. And they are all set in Alaska in Moose Springs, in case you're into a chili adventure.
If you like small town, it sounds like a small town romance. Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. Now I'm so excited because January 26th, this is the first book I'm legitimately stoked about reading, is The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Rachel Lynn Solomon also wrote Today, Tonight, Tomorrow. Today, Tonight, Tomorrow. Yes, that's the order of their title. It is two exes start a podcast together. So second chance romance, enemies back to lovers to enemies to lovers again. It looks super cute. I don't know much more about that, and that's kind of, I'm already excited, and I'm trying to like maintain my expectations with just that information.
Yes. Today, Tonight, Tomorrow was amazing.
I'm gonna read it.
So
I'm gonna
good.
Get there.
You have to, because it was so good. And so I if it's in a similar vein in terms of pace and character development, it's gonna be fantastic. I am also very excited for the X Talk.
Today, Tonight, Tomorrow is YA new adult. Like, it was definitely YA section in the bookstore, but this is a legit adult romance,
which is lovely. And if you read, so when you read Today, Tonight, Tomorrow, she in the back talks about the fact that she started reading romance, which was not her genre, because she has two other books, but they are not romance. She started reading romance in 2016 as a way to find some escape and stress relief, and then wanted to write a romance that's really reflective of all of the things that she was not seeing in the romance she was reading. And I have very similar feelings to that, so I connected with that so very strongly.
Yeah, for sure. That's okay. Other things coming out January 26th. Ugh, I can't even read anymore. Oof. Written in Starlight by Isabel Ibanez. This is book 2 of a series, Woven in Starlight. Is that the first one? Woo! Pulled that out of the vault.
No, Written in Moonlight.
Written in Moonlight. Great. What am I? It doesn't matter what I'm thinking of. Yes. Looney Tunes. Yeah. The note you wrote was American Tomb Raider. What does that mean?
Oh, South American Tomb Raider. Sorry. Okay.
I was like, we don't have no tombs.
No,
New Orleans,
the main character. Right. No, sorry. So the character is South American, not that they go robbing tombs in South America. Though also that, from my understanding of it, from my understanding of the blurb, having not read the first one, that's what's happening.
Fantastic. I believe those are also are they YA? I can't remember if they're YA or romance. Where they fall in the chick lit something.
I honestly also don't remember. I do remember the cover, but I don't remember where it goes. Same. But I'm excited to find out more. And then lastly, so this last one is my next to read, and it is Big Bad Wolf by Salika Snyder. And I requested this book on NetGalley based entirely off of the cover. I also
Amazing.
we read Salika Snyder's Take a Chance on Me last year, and I really liked her writing,
Mhm.
so I already knew the author, so that was a little bit easier. But I looked at this cover and I was like, this, I need this in my life right this second. It is a torso, presumably male,
Mm.
with slashes across it, and through the rips and the slashes, a green-eyed wolf looks at you, and
Yes,
it
it is
is
incredible.
so good. So props
Yeah,
to cover design. So good. It's
yeah.
apparently about criminal ship. What I wrote here is criminal shapeshifters beware. So there are bad guy shapeshifters, good guy shapeshifters. It happens in New York City, and the Russian mob is involved. I didn't need more selling. Like, I did not need other words for me to read this book, but I am in. I am
I'm
so
very
stoked for this.
excited. I'm so excited to see if the Russian mobsters, which way they fall, because sometimes like Russian characters can go either way for you, and I am very excited about this.
Yeah, we'll see. So that I'm very excited. We'll see how it falls out, but current expectation is A plus.
That's amazing. Those are all of the January book birthdays. What did we forget? What are you excited about this month? What are you going to read in January? And yeah, let us know. Head on over to our social medias. You can find us L.Skyford on Instagram, Skyford L on Twitter, L.Skyford for YouTube, and L.Skyford on Twitch. I feel like I've forgotten one. I can't remember. Leave us a review. Write us a comment. We love to chat with y'all. Um, you know, we're not doing much, just like day jobs, part-time jobs, kid wrangling. But like, let's live our lives together. We're always on our socials anyway. Um, yeah,
Join us
that's
next week, same time,
sure.
same
Yeah,
place. We will have a
depending
new
on my
logo.
work schedule.
Wait,
Absolutely.
wait. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go.
Yeah,
This will change. It's a work in progress. We're working on it. We're working on it.
we're
We'll tell you
figuring
how
our
it
shit
goes.
out.
We'll figuring it out. We'll see you next time. Uh,
Yeah.
we haven't really decided what we're going to talk about, but it's probably going to be tropes because
Oh,
I have questions.
I have been writing down topics all week. I have like three in my back pocket for us to talk
Why
about.
am I
So
backwards?
I know.
All right, great. In that case, next week, tropes. Let's talk tropes.
Tropes. Let's talk some
Sounds great.
tropes. Yeah. All right. So I'm Ford.
And I'm Sky.
Cool. Thank you for coming to L.Skyford Live. Let's see. What do we go? Don't forget your New Year's resolution. I
Read
don't
a
know.
book that
That's a
makes you
terrible
want to get
outro.
naked.
Read a book that makes you want to get naked. That's better. That's way better than what I said. We'll come up. We'll lock in a catchphrase.
We'll log in a catchphrase. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.